There's our beautiful faces.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sober Swole podcast. My name is freshly trimmed beard Jake Howard.
And I go by DJ Swirl.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl.
Yeah.
And before we get into the epicness that is our lives, I'm going to shout out to Royalty Nutrition. And to help me out that, as always, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Warhorse.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Royalty Nutrition is a veteran owned and operated supplement company that doesn't automatically use the cheapest ingredients while making the supplements that help you along your path to your fitness goals. Check them out and use the discount code 37HJKE to save you 15% on your entire order. My next shout out of the evening will be to Gorilla Gains. That's gorilla-gains with a Z.com. They are a fitness apparel company that you can wear comfortably in and out of the gym. They also make great equipment that helps keep you safe while you train. Use the discount code Jake15 to save you 15% on that order as well. If you're looking to get into my mind a little bit while I write training programs for people, check out patreon.com/Hake Joward. New solo episode out there should be out sometime, hopefully this week. And DJ Swirl, tell them all about the Buy to Buy Empire.
If you are shopping in store or online and you find you do not have the time, towing, or the muscle to get your new purchase home, hit us up at Buy to Buy. That is at BUYTOBYE everywhere you are. We cover on demand delivery, moving, staging, TV mounting, and assembly. Again, that is Buy to Buy. Sorry, I just got a message. I know should have closed that. This, what you see right here, is By to Buy Studios. This is high quality, low stress, remote controlled. We do everything from the generation of an idea, putting a thought to paper, putting pen to the pad, and then executing that idea and doing it in a way that helps your brand stand out. This is By to Buy Studios. You can find us everywhere you are at By to Buy Studios. Jake, what are we talking about tonight?
Man, well, I think, have I mentioned the chicken farm
You have a couple
on
of
here?
times.
Okay. So I've started we'll start off with this. So my brother lives in the next town over. It has a nice slab of land on it. My wife had the idea of asking him if we could put a chicken coop out there, and he was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll build a big sucker, and we'll have like 20 birds. It'll be good times." Okay, so need let me remind you, this was Brittany's idea. Okay,
Ooh, okay.
okay, all right. As long as we're all on the same page. So I told her, you know, let's. She's like, "How much do you think this is going to cost?" And I said, "Well, that garden that I was building in the backyard of our old house that I just had to get rid of." She goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, so for those 6 posts, the dirt, and the fence, I spent $2,000.
Ooh,
Okay,
okay. And that was
are
her
you
idea as
following me?"
well?
But no, that was my idea.
Oh,
That
okay.
was something I need to do. But are you following me so far here?
Yep.
Okay. She goes, "Oh, I forgot it was that much." And I was like, "Correct. Prices have not gone down.
Right.
So we're not going to spend 10 grand on this, but be aware." Then Derek and I are splitting everything 50-50
Okay.
down the line. And our coop, the goddamn coop. The coop itself is a 18 bird coop, and it cost $1,100. We did some research and digging around and found a good box for these birds, right? And so the only place we could pick it up was the Chandler Tractor Supply Company. Okay.
Okay.
We get it loaded up at the back of Derek's truck. We get it out to the farm. We start to put it together and realize we can't even do step one because the posts, we're missing the top halves to the posts. So we call them because we're out about an hour and a half away from this store. So we call them and say, "What the hell?" And they say, "Oh, we'll call the manufacturer. Maybe they can ship you some parts."
Helpful.
So by the time I call the manufacturer, the manufacturer says, "Tough, call us back during regular business hours." Okay.
Awesome.
So I call the manufacturer first thing the next morning, and they say, "We don't do individual parts. Have a great day."
Jeez.
So we load this thing back up into my brother's truck, drive the hour and a half back to Chandler. They say, "Hey, are these your posts?"
Ooh.
And I said, we called you to let you know we were missing these, and you didn't give us the courtesy to call us back because we were coming to return this thing, and now because I could have taken my not not diesel van that was closer to Chandler
Yep.
and picked up those two little parts rather than hauling this whole thing back and forth now for a third time. And
And he cared how
oh
much?
yeah, oh Derek was pissed, but
No, not Derek, the associate. How much did they
no,
care
they're like,
about inconveniencing you?
"Oh yeah, sorry, we just found him. we just found him when you walked in. I swear."
Oh, jeez.
And so we loaded the post in with the rest of this contraption, get it back to the farm, start putting it together, get the whole bottom part done, up on the posts. And we look at the posts as we're starting to put the cop together. They were the wrong posts.
Wow.
So I looked at him because he's a nice Central Illinois, Midwest angry person like me.
Okay.
And I said, "We're going to redneck this thing together."
Oof.
So we did. We rednecked it together to the best of our ability, to the point where the roof wasn't sticking on. It ripped off some parts. Shit that was supposed to be where it was supposed to be didn't fit. So I said, "Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go to Lowe's tomorrow. I'm going to get another board. I'm going to get a bunch of screws. And I'm going to get some blades for the Sawzall. And I'll have this done."
Nice.
He goes, "Okay," because I'm going back to he went back to Illinois for a little bit, and he's going to be back tomorrow. I said, I'll have the coop done by the time you get back." So I went out there with the Sawzall. I cut the damn thing. I put the roof together, drilled and glued and hammered and cussed, and then I moved the whole thing where it was supposed to go by myself.
Nice. So
Oh, yes.
overall, mission accomplished.
Oh yeah, except for there's a hole that I have to cover on the side of it. But
Always something.
I have the ability to do the tools to do such a thing.
Nice.
But yeah, man. So
Fun times.
chicken coop. But anyway, so what was it Brittany said to me? It was last week. She goes, "How much is this costing? I didn't realize it was that expensive." In between all the chicken wire and fence posts and
Yeah.
things, and I went, "Do you remember at the beginning of this when I said," she goes, "Oh, I'm just worried about this, you spending too much money on it." And I said, "Me too.
Ooh.
I got this." And But anyway, so with the coop itself, all that has to get done is we got to finish the rest of the fence. I got to fill that hole in the coop and put the top on in the shade, and then the chicks will be ready to move in probably next week.
Nice. And how many chicks do you have total?
Right now, 8,
Got you. And what is
because
the?
two have died.
Oh, okay. What does a chicken run you?
Oh God, I'll have to. I
Ballpark.
think I spent like $40 on the 10.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. And then so the time and everything else to raise them and what?
yeah, I'm not
Because the
too
ultimate goal is eggs
eggs and meat.
and meat. Okay.
Yep.
And so with that overall goal in mind, when do you anticipate your first return? Your egg, the meat. What timetable is
I'll
that?
see. It'll be about another. I'd say it'd be about another month.
That's it?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Well, and then I have to tell you the story about the ducks
Okay.
on why I have ducks at my house. So, um, we had brought one of the chicks home because it was getting picked on by the others. It wasn't like eating or like getting to the water. So I had the kids out there with me. And I said, let's just take this one home. It's probably gonna die. Let's take it home and give it. Let's see if we can nurse it back to health. If we can't, we've got snake food.
Sure.
You know, okay. So we're getting it there, and I'm talking, and I said we should probably go to the store and see if they have any chicks. So we'll pick up a few more chicks just to keep it company because chicks don't like being by themselves, kind of thing.
Okay.
And I call them, and they say, "Well, we don't have any chicks. We just have ducks." And I said, "Okay, see you soon."
Same
And
difference.
well, no, but it's
So
just company.
so will you eventually have duck meat or
Oh yeah,
oh okay.
my cage should be here on the second. I'm actually going to build a structure um, next to the lemon tree in the backyard. But ducks lay eggs too.
Okay.
Duck eggs are delicious. But yeah,
Are you
so I
able to
have we have
prepare them in the same fashion as you can
yeah
chicken eggs?
yeah
Like a duck egg omelet.
hmm
Dope.
yeah they're real good. I'll bring you some
There it is.
once they start showing up.
Right.
But oh yeah, it's dope. I wake up in the morning. I clean out their cage, shake their shit out in the backyard. The dogs love it. Uh,
Wait, their dogs love their poop?
yes,
You mean like to
yeah,
eat?
yeah. It's gross, but it's what they like it.
Well, that sounds
I don't.
like cleanup crew.
Yeah, and I don't have a dog's taste buds, so I mean, more power to them, I guess. And so yeah, um, so yeah, we have chickens over at my brother's house. We have ducks over at my house. The dogs. Um, and I went back out there today to see what I could do to work before Derek got back. And I was checking the baby chickens for mud butt and stuff.
Okay.
And because they're so small, um, there's not a lot of room in between when they poop in the ground, so the poop just gets caked into their baby feathers.
Gotcha.
And you have to make sure that you clean that off because if it blocks their shithole, they'll die. So
Math checks out.
yeah, so I was. And they're losing their baby feathers now enough to where they're not as fragile as what they were when we first got them. So you can turn them over and kind of spread the butt vent, and then you blow on it, and you can tell the sex of the chicken on whether or not a little dick shoots out at you or not.
Adorable.
Yeah. But so there's one that's there and it has just a real definite crown already. And I was like, all right, let's check you out, champ. So I
Right.
caught him and picked him up, and my brother's roommate out there was Kayla, and she does all kinds of ranching and stuff, and has forever. But she's never had chickens, and I said, "You want to see something cool?" So I showed her how to sex a chicken. And then she goes, "What's that?" And I said, "That's a chicken dick." She, "Oh, we got a rooster." Like, we got a rooster, man. And yeah, so adventures in poultry farming is going as swimmingly as possible.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
No thanks to
us,
Chandler TSC.
dude,
Damn.
fuck them. Like,
Wild.
I have never had anything like I love Tractor Supply. I've loved Tractor Supply since I could drive. We used to go to the Tractor Supply in town all the time, but as like teenagers.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're the worst. But what was I gonna tell you? Yeah, Tractor Supply in Chandler sucks. You can close.
Did you leave a stern review? Do you call the
I
manager? What's your follow through on that?
my whole thing was I have too much crap to do. I went and got
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. It's such an inconvenience to because they'll send you that bullshit email in a month and a half. Tell us how we're
Oh,
doing.
how was your experience? Well, I didn't kick down the door of your store yelling and screaming like I wanted to, but
No doubt. No doubt. So the chicken coop adventure. This all happened when?
this was all last week.
Last week. Okay.
Hmm.
And so we took another admin week last week,
Yep.
and then when did the most recent shenanigans go down?
I have to tell you my whole weekend.
Oh, okay. Don't let me
Let's
shortchange you.
let's just so
Let's get into it.
I was in a good mood. Brittany was not. So that
What day are we talking? How far back are we going? The weekend.
Friday. This is Friday and Saturday
Okay. And you said the chicken coop went down when? Last week?
last week.
Okay.
So I mean, when I woke up, I was like, it's gonna be a good week. I got an athlete competing today.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. I forgot.
Yep. And then, you know, whatever.
Yep.
Well, I'm taking life as it comes because it's a good day. Well, anyway, stuff's just kind of not bad, but not the good.
Yep.
So, but I'm trying to be this like good day, Costco run, and and all while checking in with my athlete and here's what's going on here, pose here, eat this, do that,
Yep.
and I mean, it was an awkward vibe in the house.
Okay.
I think she was sensing something in the force coming. But anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to the Sunday. But so my athlete ended up doing really well. She won um, women's physique and the NPC Utah Cup. So not just her class, but the overall. And I haven't been corrected on this, so I think I'm right. But because it was the cup, there was no women's bodybuilders there, so the title would defer to women's physique. Because she won the women's physique, technically she's Miss Utah for
Wild.
the National Physique Committee Utah,
Yeah.
which is great. It's my first overall champion I've ever coached.
Sure.
So I'm like, hooray!
Yeah, no doubt.
And then yeah, I mean, like I was trying to maintain a good mood, and then Sunday, we get we're driving back from Tractor Supply because I needed more duck food, and
So you
my
went
wife
back.
gets it. Yeah, of course. Oh no, I went to the one in town, not out in Chandler.
Okay.
That store can burn down, man. But I went. We're on the way back, and Britt gets a. There she is. What up,
Hey
champ?
yo, that timing.
But but Britt gets a text from her oldest daughter, and it was Dad's acting funny and talking weird. And Brett goes, "What do you mean?" And so she sent us a recording of what he was saying at like brunch,
Yeah.
and he was not sober. Let's put it like
Yeah.
that. And so Brittany was like, "Well, what do we do? Call 911." I was like, "Hang on, let's have her call the non-emergency number and describe what's going on."
Right.
So she did. The dispatcher walked her through everything. Um, I guess while all this was going on, he had loaded up uh, Mila and Wyatt in the car, started the car, and was waiting on Scarlett when the cruisers rolled up. And
Oh, okay. So he was trying to dip.
yep. And so he either failed the field sobriety test and or the breathalyzer or just the breathalyzer. And so um, he was arrested in front of his kids for a DUI, and off we scooted to pick up the kids.
Yeah.
And I'm going to speak on this as somebody in recovery and as a father and as someone personally involved in the situation. So I got 3 ways to go.
Mhm.
Me and this dude have had our ups and downs, and because of his past with Brittany, and I'm obviously in his kid's life and stuff back and forth. It is a shame that it had to come to this. Um, no child should have to like see their father get arrested and not know what's going on,
Yeah.
kind of thing. No child should feel so unsafe with their father that they have to call the police either. It's the especially something that is so totally preventable.
Yeah.
And the other thing was what made it worse was um, our oldest has PTSD from him and her mother's divorce.
Mm.
And because she was old enough to see it and witness it, and you know what I mean?
Yep.
And she's already in therapy, and then she had to make a grown adult decision to make the call because they were at brunch with her aunt and uncle and their kids, and the aunt and uncle didn't say, "Give me your keys." So this kid had to be the adult in the room
Right.
again, and it sucks. And then what her aunt said to her was horrible, telling her that she'd been poisoned, has so much hate for her father, and um, you know,
Based on,
just her taking care of herself and her siblings because she knew her dad wasn't safe.
right.
You know,
And is this someone who tends to put their center themselves in business that's not their own?
my understanding, which is limited because I don't know them all
Sure.
well, so I've only heard stories. But my understanding is they're very sweep it under the rug and don't acknowledge it people.
Okay.
And um, so the big kid's dad and his brother and sister, their father is a retired police officer. So
It's all to protect the name.
it's all to protect the name, and a lot of stuff that was done probably when they were younger and stuff was swept under the rug a lot.
Following suit. Yeah.
Yep, kind of thing. So it's raised in a cops don't snitch on each other either to you household, I think,
Sure.
and this arrest is not. If you look at everything I've heard involving the siblings too, this is not something new.
Okay.
Um, I know that his brother has been to rehab, and I hope he's doing well. I know that his sister's been to rehab, and I hope she's clean off of what she was on and stays sober and does well too. But you dance with the devil enough,
Right.
you get burned,
What's
And
what's the age difference? How much older, younger is he than you?
he's 4 or 5 years older than me.
So he's older. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So as someone who put themselves in a position to potentially cause another person harm at some point in your life, making the choice to choose sobriety and understanding full well that even if you take a little bit, like, you give yourself that little pass, that you'll take advantage of that. How does that
Mm-hmm.
feel knowing the advantages he had to take in order to put himself in that position? How does that make you feel? Because in order for there to be any kind of sweep it under the rug kind of, you know, culture to exist in a family or a household like that, um, I don't know, man. You just really you make it a point to never be seen as weak.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, and in a way, I feel sorry.
Yeah.
I feel sorry. I feel sorry for him.
Yep.
Like, and I'm not a saint by any means.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You'll never hear me say I am. But like,
And it doesn't sound like you trying to point a finger or to like place blame because you understand what that means.
yep. But it's. I wished. I really wished he had taken accountability for himself before it really affected his children.
Yeah.
And one thing I had to explain to the boy, he's 9. He's 9. And he was like, I don't understand what the big deal was. I said, well, buddy, obviously he was intoxicated and the cops needed to take him in to do the paperwork.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, but I don't see why that's a big deal. And I said, well, the big deal is, let's just say something happened to you or to somebody else or to him because he wasn't his mind wasn't functioning the way it should be
Yeah.
without this stuff. Like he could have killed you, and he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's that serious. He could have killed you. He could have killed somebody else. He could have killed himself. It's a big deal. And that broke my heart because the boy and I don't have the best relationship
Hmm.
because he looks up to his dad as any son with a father does, and I'm all for it. But like, I was like, I hate to break it to you, man, but like this is a situation where your dad made a big mistake, and he's gonna have to pay for it. It is what it is, and there's nothing you and I could do about it. There's nothing you could have said to him that would have made him stop it because
Right. Right.
you can't. I can't. There's nothing I can do to help. Like there's nothing you can do to help other than tell him to don't do it again. You know what I mean? Like it's
Sure.
all of this is going to be on him, and that is what it is.
And are all of these are all of the kids involved? Are they the ones that were with you when you got in your accident?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that happened sober.
Yep.
That happened you doing everything. So, the fact that they could have then been put in that position again because of a lack of judgment.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, man.
And there's a big hoopla too because in the divorce decree between him and my wife, it's alcohol is not even supposed to be in the house, and you're even if you're out, you're not supposed to have a drink with your meals or whatever either.
Yeah.
Like
So,
no, yeah.
so what does that mean
So
exactly?
so that's a big time contempt of court. Actually,
Contempt of court. Gotcha.
there's a lot. There's so much going on with this, man. It's
Yeah.
and a lot of it, I have to like sit back and play cleanup because there's so much of it is out of my hands.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
And so when you put that message out on the socials the other day, when it was
Mhm.
like referencing, this is the closest you've been pushed to wanting to try or to go
Yep.
back or to use, um, having had time in between that post and now, how do you feel? Does it just feel like
So
another test you passed?
when I put it, yeah, but when I put that out there, I needed to
Yeah.
because um I wanted to make it clear to people that even people with time under their belts have days when they have to white
Yeah.
knuckle it,
Yep.
grip it, and go because everything in me was screaming, "You could leave reality for a little bit right now."
And who would blame you?
And right, you could
Or
totally
hold
get
you
away with it.
accountable? Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
you could totally get away with this right now.
Yeah.
Everyone would understand. It'd be okay. And it was, I had to sit and spin on it. I actually, I really appreciate the love that I got from folks just reaching out and saying, checking up on me, and had a good conversation with old Jordan Watson, who was on the show not too long
Hey,
ago.
shout out to Jordan.
Um, yeah, Mike Schwetner. People just hit me up and saying, you got this.
Yep. And you didn't do it for that purpose.
No,
You did it for
but
yourself, but your network came through like they
it
normally do.
came through hard.
That's it.
And See, and I wanted to let everybody know, after I got the girls to bed, and I was like, I'm going to bed too. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
Like, woke up and attack the next day like you're supposed to. It's when the people at I'm not an AA guy, but when the people at the AA tell it's one day at a time, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true, and some days are gonna suck, and some days are gonna be easy. I had a really sucky day.
Yeah.
That was rough. This whole thing has been just rough, and then it's one of those things where I know I need to be like Stone, but I'm having a hard time being like Stone
Mhm.
because there's so much that's just out of my control or my realm.
So when you say stone, you mean get hard to the point that stuff bounces off of you.
Yeah, I
Okay.
like I need to be the rock
Okay.
that you know people in the house can come up and just lean on.
And do you think you do an adequate job of not projecting that onto your kids and your family?
What do you mean?
Because
Like,
whenever you put that boundary up, whenever you put that armor on, it's tough for you to show the vulnerability that's required as a father.
no, I don't mean it like that. I mean, I'm talking about being like 100% present for everything,
Gotcha.
and then like as a man, like you want to solve the problem,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then none of this I can even touch, and it's like,
To prevent yourself from feeling emasculated
yeah.
in the process.
So,
I
well,
got you.
see, and there's that, that, and it's like,
Because like you said, it's out of your control. So it's easy
yep.
to feel emasculated as the head of household when you can't do anything about it.
And it's not like I'm like even trying to let it get to me like that, but it's just like, all right, so all of the kids are upset.
All of them. Yeah.
You know, my wife is stressed out. There's all kinds of phone calls to lawyers and fucking courthouses and online research and stuff and stuff.
Mhm.
Everybody still has to go to work. Everybody still has to go to school. My toddler won't stop, you know, touching the ducks. you know, like
So the rock, the shell that you form, allows you to continue doing all those things in spite of the added pressure.
yeah, and it's just I just got to roll. I just got to roll. I just got to roll.
And what's
And to
your release process for that though? Because you got to have in terms of balance, you've got to have a space that you allow yourself to be vulnerable to.
dude, recently going out and taking
Okay.
care of the birds
So the birds, okay.
has been great. Well, I can now swing out to my brother's farm, and they have a horse and a cow. And I'll just get in the pen and play with the cow.
I hear a lot of people who are into plants do that as well.
Hmm.
Like they use it for calm to help calm themselves.
Oh, you want to hear a grudge I've got involving a plant?
I didn't know
Plants.
such a thing existed, please.
Oh, I got grudges. I got grudges. So at the old house, I was like, I'm gonna get an orange tree and a pomegranate tree because I'm just gonna get these trees and take care of them, right? So Flash ate my first orange tree, or so I thought. So I went and got another orange tree and planted the other stick on the other side, and I built a fence around it to where like the dog couldn't get to it.
Okay.
Okay. When I got the pomegranate tree, I was like automatically put that fence up because I know that he'll try and get to it and chew on the stick that's coming out of the ground. So I'll block it off. Fast forward a few months down the road, my wife has to get a dog, her dog, for her.
Okay.
Her dog, Ginger, not only destroyed my new orange tree and the orange tree that Flash ate that I revived, so both of my orange trees, but she got into my pen where I had my fruit bearing pomegranate tree.
Mm.
She ripped it out of the ground.
And a is that something that that breed does? A
It's
is that a direct shot at you? What is that? What do you
well,
translate that as?
I translate that as a it has to be something that the breed does, but it was like so with I would go out and I would water these trees every day. I'd say, "How are you? How are you going? Looking
Oh
a little
yeah,
thirsty
bro.
today."
Yeah, bro.
Like
You're talking to him.
I had a full on connection with my plants
Okay. And you did this
that
in
my
front
wife.
of your dogs.
Yes.
Okay.
Then my wife's dog ate the trees
What was
after she ate the fence to get to the
what's the
trees.
time frame? Like how long after the purchase?
Oh no, I had those trees for I had revived the first tree, had the new tree going, the new orange tree going where it was, it had made flowers and stuff and was pretty.
Yeah.
The pomegranate tree, within the second month we had it flowered and started making little tiny pomegranates.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, this next go around is gonna be so cool. I'm gonna have oranges and pomegranates. Oh wow, that's so cool. Then yeah, a couple months later, goddamn dog ate him.
Man.
So
So
yeah, I got a grudge involving plants.
okay, but that's not the plant's fault. I thought you
No, no,
said
no, no. It's not against the plants.
okay, I thought you had beef with the plant.
No, I got beef with a dog named Ginger.
Okay, because I have beef with my dog named Dre,
Mhm.
and I don't know, man. I'm not sure what I did. I'm not sure why he thought this was the thing to do, but last week I didn't want to post a I didn't want to post an actual like I didn't want to use an actual post, so I just put in my stories. But my dog shit on my laptop bag last week. Like I'll post a picture on here so there's supporting evidence. But
Mhm.
um, and the thing about it is I let him out before I left because I knew I wasn't gonna be home. I didn't want to make dude feel uncomfortable in the house, and we had roofers working. So he had a lot of, he was not comfortable in his own space. So I get that. However, he walked on the complete opposite side of the house to get to my office. And then my bag was leaning up against the chair. So it was upright. It wasn't even lying down, it was upright. And he managed to hit it to where it hit it and then it went all the way down the side of it. All and it rested on the handle. So where it sat the most was on the handle. So I had to get rid of that thing. There's no way I'm using that again. But he did that and I was like, yo, the disrespect was crazy. And again, knowing that he had tile all over the house, he chose carpet on the bag in my room. So I'm just like, okay, man. So obviously our connection, I was very less affectionate. Didn't play with him, none of that stuff. He did it again the following day. The bag wasn't there for him to get this time, but he came all the way into my office and my door was closed. I closed my door this time. And when I came home, the first thing I did was check my office and it was barely, the door was barely open. So I was like, okay, maybe he didn't come in here. And I swung it open, didn't see anything. And then as I was walking away, I caught a whiff of what smelled familiar. And I checked my breath. So I was hoping it wasn't me because I didn't see anything. Turned right back around, opened the door a little wider, stepped in, stepped right on it. So yeah, man. back to back days, he dropped bombs in my office. So I don't know how to not take offense to that.
Well, that's why Flash isn't allowed in the house anymore. I was, I've been, I potty trained him soft. I potty trained him hard. I potty trained him, you know.
Mhm.
He's just like, nah, I'm peeing on everything. I don't care.
No, he does
So
a great, like, he holds his pee, but he was just not happy, and he just, man.
we'll see. And then I don't know what's going on with Loki, but he's always like, little dogs pee on stuff. They don't care. It's who they are. There's nothing you can do about it. You can train them all day. They don't care. But he's been staying outside a lot more often because he's been peeing in the bed.
Oof. Like
And
what?
then Ginger,
How often? How many times is too many?
I've never felt it. So I've been told because he sleeps in between my legs.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. This dog he sleeps in between my legs.
okay.
So you'd think if he peed, I'd be like, hey, motherfucker, good morning to you, you know?
Yeah.
And then he'd be like dead. But yeah, Brittany was saying that like he definitely peed in the bed at some point. So he's been chilling outside. Ginger, not only does she like peeing on the floor, but she likes a spot. So in our house, you come up the stairs. There's the bedrooms going on each side, and then ours it's all the way on one end. She likes going in the middle and just taking a big old shit. And it doesn't matter how often you let her. If you let her out before you go to bed, nothing.
Mhm.
She's like, no, fuck y'all. Basically, the dogs that I have in my house right now are the most frustrating animals I've ever had. And I had Cleo for like 13 years, man. Like,
Yeah. We just now switched chore assignments. Rylan helps out in the backyard, picks up weeds. There's not a whole lot at any given moment, but when there are a lot, you know, she complains and all this. It's now Anna's job after school every day to come and pick up some poop, and she's been a champ. She's been doing it pretty well. Rylan was very happy to pass that off because she didn't do a great job with that, and she's been not been doing a great job with the weeds either. But uh, they're working toward it. Um, but yeah, our youngest Anna today, she was like, "I was thinking, I was just thinking today," and and my wife was like, "What were you thinking?" "I think we should get another dog." And we both were like, laugh out loud. No fucking way. No fucking way. I mean, Dre, he would acclimate, but I don't want to. I'm not. I'm not going through that transition period.
no.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah,
So, so
every
to
so
say all of
every
that,
so
go ahead.
so every once in a while the kids will say something about, don't you think we should get a? And I go, no.
Yeah. No way,
And
man.
my ass brings home ducks.
So, in terms of this rock that you have to be to deal with this circumstance, what's the ETA? How long do you think you're going to have to do on that?
Oh, a while
And how
because
long are
it's
you
not
willing to tolerate that with the dogs? Like, the ex can't help with that situation.
well. So the thing with the dogs is, I mean, I just need to spend more time with them, let them in and out more. But the problem with
Are you
that
going to be able
is,
to do that with the ducks and the chickens?
well, once I get the duck fortress put together and secured, then yeah, 'cause I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
because the thing with Ginger, man, is she's so fucking smart. She's so smart. She's a Australian Shepherd and Pit Bull. She's just fucking smart. but so I have to make sure that that thing's super secured because I watched her catch a wren out of the air, like the little birds. I
Hmm.
watched her jump and catch it, and then use it as a toy as she slowly like tore it apart. It's like the happiest I've ever seen her. I was like, oh, oh, okay.
Right.
But yeah, my ducks are dope. Thomas and Gertrude. I've had those things for a week, and they went from being this big, and they're already like ducks. Man,
Dang.
wild.
So, do you have to balance out like the gender between the male and the females?
The dogs.
No, the chickens and the ducks. Does that matter?
So, so if you're gonna do a flock of ducks, it's supposed to be like 5 females per every male.
Okay.
Because when it comes to loving season, male ducks are
I was assuming there's gonna be some territory.
they're rapists. Like, for real, for real,
I
for
forgot
real.
about that. I know
Yeah,
I remember hearing somebody say that before, but oh,
they don't care. They
okay.
go and take it. When it comes to the chickens, I mean, it's. I think we'll be cool with the one rooster and whatever many hens we get.
Mm.
I'm excited to assert dominance on a rooster, though.
What does that mean exactly?
Dude, well, so roosters, if you let them run the yard like they run the yard,
Mm.
they'll attack you.
Okay. So there is a known standoff that has to go down.
Oh, it's going, yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, it's pretty much going to end up with me kicking a chicken. And then it,
Please get this on record.
yeah.
Please, I need to see this.
Yeah.
It sounds
Well,
hilarious.
well, it depends on how like aggressive the chicken is too. The rooster is, but like there has to be a line of respect that needs to be made. Like the moment it steps up to be like, no, my yard, I have to be like, no.
So what happens if you lose? Are
then
you
I can never
prepared for
show.
that?
Then I can never show my face at a KFC ever again. I think it's the.
Are you prepared to? Are you prepared? Have you prepared your Jake Paul reply? To where when you lose a match, you're supposed to win. Oh, I got sick a couple times. Kids were acting up.
Oh no, probably the best time for me to do it is to go out there when the kids are acting up.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, they don't want to catch you, kid. Post kid drama.
fucking fucking bird with your claws. Yeah.
Oh man.
Here
So
comes Pop. Here comes Papa Hank.
so how much money are you guys gonna save long term by not having to buy eggs at the store? Like, do you feel
I-
as confident with your chicken purchase as you did with crypto?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like I will know when I need to get out too.
What does that look like?
Well,
What what's a
but do you
Russian to get out of the egg game?
no? But do you remember when I was like I was like, oh no, I got to get out right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah, and I'm.
you like I said, you had a good run with crypto, and you pulled your punches when you needed to, and you got out. But the ROI on the chicken coop is going to be much slower,
Mhm.
but it should be much more fruitful in the end.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I mean, if you maintain everything and keep it right, it'll run till I die. You
Because
know,
I have to
so
assume there are quite a few people who are doing this and selling them on the side.
yeah. But I'm not looking to sell them.
No,
I no, dude. There are 7 people in this house that all love breakfast. Like, like
you won't have the
it's
extra.
going through a dozen eggs is easy. Like, probably one of the easiest things we could do here. So, I mean, like we get the doubles the double stacks at Costco,
Yeah.
and then yeah. So I mean, if I can make 2 of those a month, we're cool. what and whatever else is whatever Derek and Kayla want, and then whatever
What's
else I'll drop off at your house.
what's the current street value on a dozen eggs?
Oh, I think it's gone down.
Like $8?
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, man. Without me live stream googling, which I've been told not to do.
Yes. No. Okay. So, but just the cost of outside of the coop, how much does a return on eggs cost? You have to have a male, female, rape.
So, so on my end, we'll probably spend around $1,100, $1,200 total
Okay.
on coop, chicken, feed, reinforcement supplies, stuff. So, I mean, we probably spend that a year in total in poultry,
Mhm.
period. So, I mean, 2-3 years we're in the black.
No, man. Like you said, you guys eat that many eggs.
We eat a bunch of chicken too. So I mean,
Do you guys have any poaching issues? Any predators that are out on the prowl in the sticks?
um,
Coyotes?
I mean, like coyotes, probably skunks. Skunks love chickens.
Oh, skunks love chickens. Okay.
Skunks love chickens, and people don't realize it. The skunks are predators, not just the Pepe Le Pew version. Like, but they're
Right.
like for real.
Right.
Like they're hunters, and
Man, the spectrum on skunks is wild, bro.
it's yeah. It's
Natural
like what the.
predators to Mr. Steal Your Girl. That's some range.
That was Mr. Take Your Girl, know whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Pepe Le Pew was pulling no punches.
Well, nope. No, but see what the coyotes, skunks, hawks.
Hmm.
So we're reinforcing the top. We're double chicken wiring and with the shade tarps and the house itself.
What did you learn from your last excursion in the chicken coop business?
I didn't learn anything from that other one.
Oh
Weren't my
no,
birds.
because
Weren't my birds.
that one went down in flames, right?
Wasn't my birds. Did not care.
Are those going to be housed in the same area that these new ones are?
No.
Okay, so it's a whole different.
Nope.
Oh, it's a new house, all that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. New house, all that. Not at my house. I mean, the chickens aren't at my house. I get to go hang out with my brother,
Oh,
4 days a week.
the chickens aren't
Oh
going to be at your
no.
place.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Well,
This yard's not big enough.
got you. So you visit him multiple times a week, tend to him and all that.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, because that was the whole thing. It was like I'm gonna make it my business to be out here at least every other day. I'm not gonna have you guys. Thanks for all this shit. Handle my birds. I'll be here to collect the spoils.
Right.
Like, no.
Right.
But he's like, no, I'll be out here to clean it and make sure feed's right and make the water's good. Run the fence. Make sure. I don't know, but there's something about, like, dude, this is something about this feels so good. Like farming in general is like in my blood, and then I feel it. So it's like
Good.
Feels good to get back to the roots.
Especially being work from home dad. What's the term now? What's the term for a dad homemaker?
I think it's just stay at home dad. I think
Stay home dad. Okay. I mean, even though your wife still is there working from home, correct?
Yeah.
The dynamics has changed a lot, but
whatever. Like my whole thing is like this is one of the best ways that I can contribute because like I know so much about this for no reason, and like oh man, I can actually no shit put food on the table for real.
Mhm.
Look here, I made this.
Yep.
That's rad.
Very hunter gatherer of you.
Yeah, that's rad. And then occasionally I go out on Saturdays with my buddy Nate and I shoot at birds. Pretty great.
It's good, man. Glad you're finding your lane out there
Working on it. And you get
while also
we had
having success on the training front remotely.
yes, yes, that was great. Needed that.
So how does this
Needed
help
the
her?
dub.
How does this help her resume moving forward?
Um. So she's nationally qualified, which means she can go do one of the big national shows to compete for her pro card. But that we're going to take some time and do it for real. Because my whole thing is this is her first time competing. She could definitely have better conditioning and be tighter. There's things that we could work on. Like there's always things you learn from every show you do, kind of thing.
Right.
And I don't want her to even think about a national show for another year. Like I would rather her take her time off, handle what she needs to handle as a wife and mother,
Mhm.
and then we'll reload for next year and hopefully do a show where she actually has to compete against a good sized crowd,
Right.
kind of thing. Because you can't bask in the glory of your first win because absolutely you earned it. She earned everything, but the whole point of bodybuilding is to be better than what you were on stage the last time you were on stage.
Yeah.
So if that's she places 10th but looks way better than what she was the first time, that's the win.
Mm-hmm.
That's the win. And if you get in that mindset and keep going, then when she does her national show, it's the same thing. I look better than I did in my last local show,
Yep.
and so on and so forth, so on and so forth. And that's what makes you. That's what earns you your pro card, and that's what makes you a good pro. Because there's a lot of people that are pros in the IFBB that have never won, that never win shit. And but it's did you look better than last time? Did you look better than last time? Did you look better than last time?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just the mentality you got to be in. You got to look better than last time. What improvements did you make than last time? Over and over and over and over
Yeah.
until all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I won a big thing, rad, you know. So
Whoops.
that's the mentality we want to preach. It's not bodybuilding is about patience. It's hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work. Diet, 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 diet. Hard work on top of the diet with the diet with some hard work.
Steroids. Hard work, hard work, hard work.
Yeah, that's another thing because we'll have to talk to her about um, divisions. Like if she wants to stay doing women's physique, those ladies aren't just taking creatine.
Right. Right.
Like so I mean there's a lot of with bodybuilding itself there's a lot of sacrifices and then there's also a lot of like what else are you willing to sacrifice kind of thing because with every PED you take you have to know the ins and outs of it and what it can cause in you then or down the road.
Yeah.
So it's like how bad do you want it?
Yep. Either way, she's got one hell of a springboard.
Hell yeah. And
When
like
she was, especially with her,
dude,
her own personal journey. Like,
dude, was what I told her on Twitter the other day was like it's not my business to tell your story. But like from what I know of it, you're gonna help so many people realize that can just they can take charge and just totally change their lives. So I mean, that's good shit. Like I've said millions of bodybuilding straight up saved my life at one point. Straight up saved my life. And I wanted to pass that on to someone, and I feel that I have.
Yeah. The most appropriate of Ric Flair woos.
Oh yeah, Fox News.
It's all you, man. You can go down that route if
Well,
you want.
so Kennedy was the former MTV VJ that does Fox News business. I don't think I've ever sat and watched a whole Fox News business, but I know that she has a lot of libertarians on there that get on there, and the whole panel will be going, and they'll be like, "You're all full of shit," and like Spike Cohen, the former Libertarian Party VP candidate, is on there a lot. And
Right.
I love Spike. Wish Spike was my friend. Seems like such a nice guy. But yeah, she interviewed Ric Flair about his strain. It's like, we did it first. Sober Swole did it first. Where's our love?
I don't know if
Where is
there's
our love?
I don't know if there's where's our love. It's just, they're late to the party. Like, I don't know. I don't watch Fox, so I'm assuming that's not the first time he's been on.
I I
just
couldn't
knowing
tell you.
just knowing how cannabis tends to run in that sphere, it's just interesting that once a big enough name gets attached to something in that realm, they'll have it on and they'll discuss it.
What's with my understanding with her is she's always been more open about that and more about
No, just the brand, just the brand,
yeah the brand itself. Yeah,
just the
right.
brand itself. But again, hypocrisy isn't above them. So
No, but I haven't watched corporate news on purpose in
I was just
many
I
moons.
I was just looking to see if there was any kind of March Madness game, anything on the other day, and there was the news. I was just like, ugh, and I flipped through all of them, and all
Mhm.
three of them were just like unwatchable. So, and that sucks being a local business owner that I don't even want to mess with the local news, but it's like
Oh man,
it's depressing, it's stale, it's forced, it's all those things. No thanks.
it's not for me.
Shout out to Rick though, spreading the word,
Still, still killing it.
spreading the word. Oh, speaking of cannabis, I have officially dropped my favorite brand.
Uh-oh.
Unwillingly. It's not
Oh,
by
okay.
choice. Like I've stuck with this brand since I had my card, since I got my medical card 3 years ago, and they just had a lot of good offers. Their product was quality more often than not, and then out of nowhere it was like something changed to where their website stopped doing the BOGO offers and the different deals. Like they stopped advertising it on their own website, which is a weird thing to not do. But
Yeah,
they were supposed to revamp it. I checked it the other day; it's still the same. Um, they're at a lot less dispensaries, um, and when they are at a dispensary, their selection is limited, if available at all. And so it's just like it's annoying. And so on top of all of that, I would say out of the last 10 cartridges that I've had, 8 of them did not screw on to the battery. So, and it's not like I have one battery and it's like, okay, it doesn't work on this one. This is just like a little thing I have. There's 4 batteries right here. I can put
yeah,
one into any of these. They're all charged. They're just sitting here, just kind of like on ice, if you will. But through random, specials and whatever, you just kind of you wind up with more batteries. I guess they're just like lighters, but like
yeah,
I don't use them, and so I get this cartridge and I put it on the one that I use every day, and it doesn't work. I'm like, and I got a BOGO, so I got another one, put it on it, didn't. I'm like, and so I go through all 4 of those, and it doesn't work at all. This is supposed to be a universal situation with any kind of cart, unless
yeah.
specified otherwise. So yeah, man, I just got frustrated with it, all those things, and then I went online and on Reddit, and people are talking about it, and they're sharing the exact same frustration. It's and so I'm just like, so not only do I have to keep it tight up against my mouth, but then I have to like keep it together to make sure that I can get a drag off of it. So it's like
Oh,
you're doing the most just to do this thing that's supposed to be about convenience. So, yeah, I switched up, found another brand that is an equivalent to what I was using previously, and it's fantastic. It reminds me of
you
the brand I used to like. So it's like
you didn't pick up any Ric Flair strain?
I did not, and only because I didn't have the research to know what I wanted. So I didn't want to just grab something and then be like, "Oh, I got the natty ice of his line." I don't want that wasn't my intent. So, like, you know what I mean? I'll give it that much respect to where I don't use it the wrong way. So I just looked at what I know and I stuck with that. And what I have is fantastic. Um, hopefully that's I'll find deals on that and I'll pay attention to it more. But like, yeah, man, use that brand for 3 years. Like I used to, like I posted stuff, spreading the word on my personal, on my, my Instagram a few times, and it's like, I saw it the other day and I was like, delete it.
Hmm.
And not because no shade to them, but it's just like their product isn't up to their own standard. And
Yeah.
on their boxes, like they do the most to talk about how they are a step above the rest, like they all do.
Hmm.
But like if they
Yeah.
don't deliver on their own promise, peace out. So unfortunate. And now
It
that
is
I'm
what
a
it is.
recreational smoker, my taxes went from 8.5 to 24. So it's like I'm paying extra now to not enjoy the experience. So yeah, I had to say bye bye.
Yeah.
Pure
No
Earth.
thanks.
They're
You
and
know,
they're
speaking,
and they're Arizona based, which sucks. So
it does suck. Speaking of enjoyable experiences, for St. Patrick's Day, I picked up a sixer of the Stella beer, the NA that they make.
yeah.
That was maybe may have been one of the most refreshing beverages I've had in a while. Like, because I don't like Heineken. Those Heineken Zeros taste just like Heineken. Delicious. Oh man, but that Stella was like,
Hmm.
this is great for a nice hot summer day. You just
Man, I wrote down a note about cocaine and I don't remember what it was. That's really gonna bother me.
well, actually, the last time I came home from like beating the crap out of that chicken coop, I came home and had one of those Stellas. I sat down on the couch and was like,
Yeah.
it's me and my NA beer. Because
Right.
it's honestly just like refreshing. It's a refreshing beverage. It's like a beer flavored lemonade without the lemonade.
So is that how you refer to them? NAs? No
Yeah, non
alcohol?
alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic? Okay.
Yeah, man. Oh man. So Iraq, the second deployment. It used to be you could always get your hands on non-alcoholic Coors,
Mm,
but the problem with those back in the day was they hadn't gotten the technology down to get all of the alcohol out.
okay.
So I knew cats that were like bad bad alcoholics, like how I got later, but like then
Yeah.
I'd watch them drink like 30 of these NA beers so they could get a buzz.
You get a
I was
buzz
like,
off of 30?
yeah, but just to because they missed their buzz so much, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was wild. But anyway, technology is better now.
Oh, that's funny. Man, I don't know what it was.
I'll probably have one of those after the show as a reward for the great show.
Ooh, well, we are what? Hour and 15? Oof. Hour and
Ooh.
14:38. That was a pretty good guess. Pretty good guess. Anything
I
else
mean,
you wanted to? discussed it this evening?
Yes, and we're about to praise police officers,
Whoops.
but we need to make it very clear that we are not celebrating trans death
Absolutely. Great disclaimer.
because because one, we're not, and two, um, we're not trying to trip any algorithms to get the show banned either.
Sure.
But watching the video of the police responding and getting into the school and following was excellent. The the officers were communicating with each other. Check here, go here, go, 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 move swift here, left, right, and everything was smooth, 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 smooth. And when we were taught how to clear houses and things like that, they always taught us from the beginning, go slow, because you start slow and you do everything you're supposed to. What your assigned segment is, you do it slow, slow, slow. By the end of the day, you're moving through houses fast because slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And you could tell that those officers had been trained in clearing buildings quite well. Their movement of force was smooth, swift, and deadly the way it should be. And any officers that may have to be in a situation like that need to emulate uh, those officers and see how their training was. Not like some weak ass school out in, not some weak ass cops out in Texas that let a bunch of kids get murdered while they sat outside and inside.
Yeah, the difference, I think that's what my tag on my story or something to that effect was like how this is not the standard is beyond me. Like first off, there's a few levels to this whole thing, right? So first off, it's another as far as we've learned, it's another white person, correct?
I believe so.
Right. So one narrative you're not going to hear is white on white crime, right? So the focal here, even your heads up was don't trip up the algorithm because this is not us advocating for harm on trans people. This has nothing to do. This commentary has nothing to do with them being trans. However, if it was another white male, we know what the cisgender male, we know what the narrative would be, right? It would be mental health. It would be um, wasn't getting the care that they needed to, broken household. You know, they'll do all of the Christian norms. But now the fact that it's a trans person and it was at a Christian community, it was just like it feels like the thing that they do on purpose so they have something to complain about or talk about. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
sad enough to think that any kind of organization would stoop that low for the sake of the attention, but attention's currency nowadays.
Yep.
So it's like they most definitely will. And the fact that we knew exactly who it was less than 24 hours, that there was another person that was put out there on the internet as the alleged shooter that got debunked because it was false information, that not only happened, but then was cleared ASAP. And then the response. The response of the police officers was phenomenal. Like, if you watch the footage, you saw that the the perpetrator just kind of moseyed into the school, just kind of walked, like literally just walked up, shot the glass out of the doors, made their way in, and was just kind of looking around to find someone to hurt. Like they did not look like they were a threat the way that the cops did. They didn't march in the way that you described it, how they were fluid, how they were, like there was precision, there was planning involved. The actual shooter, it was none of those things. So their threat level, I don't know how to compare it to Uvalde. I don't know how, I don't remember their name, but the person who was responsible for that shooting, um, whether they were a tactician or not. But you just got the standard, some kind of armor, and then a couple different weapons and some ammo. But like reading into how much and the way that the shooter from Covenant was able to acquire the weapons so easily, knowing that they had a history of mental health issues. So it's like any of the safeguards that they try to use when the narrative is a cisgendered male, talking about he didn't get the help that he needed or he didn't have the household that he needs, they literally shot down all the legislation that would have protected the exact thing that happened. The red flag, the laws that prevent people that have, certain criteria in terms of their mental health, they don't allow them to get guns as freely as everyone else does. They shot all those down. And one of the people who lost their life was like one step, 6 degrees of separation was 1 degree of separation from like the principal or the governor. And then did you see the representative from that state on Capitol Hill?
No.
How he basically said there's nothing we can do. A lawmaker on Capitol Hill said there's nothing that we can do about it. And you just watch how these people talk about it, this loss of life. They talk about it so freely. They send out that template. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families. Privacy is appreciated. Whatever that template says at this point. But it's like it's so generic. It's so contrived that it's not even the sympathy isn't there. And then one of the other right wing people who supports the NRA, he just refused to ask questions as he left. All these reporters comment on this thing, and he just literally silence. Ignoring it is ignorance. Choosing ignorance is okay. And it's dumb. Like it doesn't make any sense. Meanwhile, John Wick coming to theaters. Bang, 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 bang. Nothing but guns in that movie. And that was the post that I had shared, I think, last week, to where the song by Nas that they're using in the trailer,
Mhm.
Got Yourself a Gun, that they remixed and they, added with that they synced to all the locks and the loads and the shoots. So funny. But they just so freely. But back in 2001 is when the song was released. And, they cut everything out for radio. The same people who made the edited version of Get Low and added more skeets, they took out the word gun from Nas's single. So you never heard it on the version that made it to radio. But now this trailer that gets seen but there's no like warning. There's nothing preventing people from watching it, from seeing it.
Yes, dear. What's up?
Don't let it marinate. All good?
Yeah.
All good? Anyway, point I was trying to get across. We're very lax with gun culture and gun and how and the visuals and how much in terms of representation, guns haven't lost a beat and they won't anytime soon. Kids just getting murked. But your thoughts, sir?
Gun free zones are soft targets.
Always will be.
um, I'm actually, I've posted it a few times that I believe that all marginalized and discriminated communities should be armed.
But that's just
I
more
mean,
guns. That's not. That's not.
no, but see, but like I get you, but the this whole with this one in particular, from what we know so far, was the shooter had two targets picked out, but decided on their alma mater because there was less security. And my thing is, technically, if you were to look at my house, say open up your safe, my minimal supplies I have here to someone who hates guns would say I'm armed to the teeth. I have three. You know what I mean? But like it's like I don't know, man.
If you have a bomb and the only way to stop a bomb is with another bomb, you should probably not have bombs. It's a very simple argument. And then people will deviate and they'll say, "Well, cars kill people." And they do all of this stupid conflation that has nothing to do with something that is literally designed only to cause harm. And then we
It's
hold it under self-defense. But all of these offenses are that. They are all offenses that are being uh played out. And it's because it's so easy for them to execute these people who are just living life, teaching, being at church, getting their nails or their hair done in a salon. It's purposely vulnerable places because of how lax it is. It's not because they're worried about another person having a gun. And like, what world do we live in to where we all feel comfortable if we're at the salon and everybody's got a Glock on them? Like, that's not a good world to live in. That's not a safe place. You shouldn't want you can't let your kids go to the fucking bounce house if they all have guns on them because that's the only way that everybody's going to feel safe. So the gun for a gun thing doesn't make any sense. And it's only to protect your ability to have the gun on you. That's not here. That's not what this conversation is about. You can have your safe. You can have your guns. You can use them for what you do in a situa- in a lawful situation. That's not up for debate here. What's up for debate is the access and is the lack of consequence for them taking these things out. These people either die or they get locked up for a long time and they don't care. Their parents
listen,
aren't
and
held accountable. The gun stores around them aren't held accountable for not even, and the fact that there isn't even a delay in the process of them getting these guns. Like
is that how
you can walk in somewhere and walk out with one, right?
here? I don't know
Most
how Tennessee works.
many places, most places. And then the answer is to build a a dry erase wall that folds into a bulletproof room for you guys. Like, I saw that video on the internet and it made me die laughing, bro. I was like, are you kidding me? But knowing how the world works, that company will have an uptick in sales because people will act out in fear. And that's what most of the gun purchases are for, is for fear, because they're worried about what might happen to you. How many times have you had to use any of the guns in your arsenal, even with you having a shitty neighbor? How many times have you had to reach into that safe to make yourself feel safe?
A
Zero
few times.
times.
No, I've cleared the house a few times.
What do you mean you cleared the house?
Like I've gotten up and I've walked and I've made sure no one was in my house a few times.
Based out of fear, not an actual threat.
Okay.
The point is, the amount of times you've actually had to use them for the reason why you got them is zero. That's the point.
Okay.
So when all of these tragedies and things happen, for us to revert back into my right to be able to defend myself for something I literally have never used before is a soft argument. Because I could have bombs. You could have the bomb, and you could say I've got a in my I have a bomb safe. And every now and then I take a bomb out, I take a grenade out, I take the clip out, I just walk around.
Okay.
House is good. I put the clip back in, and then we go back to sleep. Like, I'm just saying, the rationale is fear based. You don't
Okay.
have that many guns because you fear that you for your safety. You do it because you like guns. They make you feel powerful and they're fun to play with. Like, all of those reasons, you should be able to use them. But these people and the boundaries or the levels of authority that are in place to keep people who don't have your same uh, harmless intentions with a harmful weapon. These people should have that there should be safeguards not only for you and your right to be able to do what you do, but for everybody who is anti-gun.
Well, so my thing with that too is depending on the severity of red flag law stuff, I probably wouldn't be able to purchase a gun again, or I'd probably have to get rid of mine.
But you're not a threat.
No, but you see, that's the thing. I'm not a threat, but I've also been treated for depression. I've been treated for suicidal thoughts and tendencies.
Okay.
Okay, so
And
that's on my record.
all those were tied to your substance abuse use.
Doesn't matter.
No,
That's
no,
on my
no, no,
record
no, no, no,
forever.
no, no, no. That does matter
Right,
because you're none of those things right now
right,
because of your choice to choose. You chose your health. You chose your physical and mental health. So all of those things, all those red flags are pre-sober Jake.
right. But that's not how government works. That's not how paperwork works. That's
So
not how
what?
bureaucracy works.
Jake is not a threat. Jake has nothing that on your record that would show that you have aggression with a weapon.
I
Correct?
understand that, but on paper, I would still be a mentally ill person. It doesn't matter. That's my issue with red flag laws and stuff. There's plenty of people that are law abiding, good citizens.
So you've had
And
issue getting a gun you wanted.
no, because I don't have a red flag law that would stop me from.
Okay, but you're also not who we're talking about.
I
We're not
understand
talking
that.
about responsible.
But
Throw that
but
out the
I'm
window.
I'm
Throw
listen, I'm
responsible.
talking I'm talking in general. The problem with putting a red flag law in place or a law that blocks someone from doing it is someone who gets into power then says, aha, this applies to blanket. Blah.
No, they're already doing the
That
blanket in the opposite direction. That's why the NRA doesn't lose, is because they have blanket protection. So yes, your point is correct. But the fear that you have, it's already going on in the opposite direction, which is why kids keep getting killed. So the blanket, oh, someone can come in and just put down these laws, that's what's happened already. That's why we have to fight as hard as we have just for sensible gun reform, just to say use it in a right way, because the powers that be are in control in Congress and where it matters, doing the thing that you're talking about.
so I think we want the same things, but we have different opinions on how to get there.
Where is the accountability for the NRA?
Fuck the NRA.
No, 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 no. We can't say fuck them because they're
No,
literally the people at the forefront of all of this.
the NRA has sponsored gun control before.
No, no, no. We're not talking about before. We're
No,
talking
but
about now.
I'm saying in general, the
We're
NRA
talking about there
is
have
not.
been 120 school shootings and it's been 80 days for the year, or mass shootings and it's been 80 days for the year so far. So that's a gigantic problem. And this organization is responsible for what? What does the NRA even do?
Suck
Jesus
up money,
Christ.
pay people,
Jesus
fucking.
Christ. Don't even know the people who should be held accountable. We don't even know what the limitation is on their authority. So we don't even there's no consequence. So all of the things that you were just talking about, that someone's going to come in and they're just going to put something in place that harms us, and you're talking about limiting your ability to get a harmful thing. These people have already put protections in place that don't allow you to stop harmful people from acting out. So the tragedies won't happen on your end if they do the thing that you're talking about. If they come in and say, okay, here's all these red flag laws, but they can't come and get your guns, how are they going to round up that many guns? There's more guns than there are people in this country. It can't happen. The scale of it can't happen. The same way anybody who says, I've got a private arsenal in my house, come get me, government, and then they just send a drone and you're done. Like, the argument is so silly that it doesn't even make sense. But we like to center ourselves in the conversation, but it's everyone else around here, us, that's effective. I would love for there to be a world to where people could buy assault rifles to not assault people, but just to assault cars and pumpkins and beer bottles. I would love for that to be the case. But an assault rifle is a war machine that has been that has made its way to non-soldier use, not excuse me, non-marine use. And now it's just like, well, we don't want to not be able to do it. So now we can't not keep other people safe because we want to be able to use it at our leisure, which is the majority of your gun use. Correct?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not assaulting people. You don't have the intention to, but there are people who do. And then our society and with social media, it's only giving people more and more credence to how they feel. And then they pipe out a manifesto and shoot up a Christian elementary. Like, what? Gotcha. Like, how is that even balanced? How do they say, okay, I did this thing, I shot up this school, told you. Did you read the manifesto or do you know what's in the
No,
manifesto?
no. Last I heard was they blocked it, so you couldn't read the whole.
Ooh, imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah.
But it's all so how does that even play into this in your mind? How does the religion aspect of it, does that strike you at all?
I think it was picked as a soft target and to send a message in a way
Because like a gay
that
nightclub, do they have do people have personal weapons? Is that a problem at gay nightclubs? That's probably a soft spot too, right?
yeah.
And that's why those get hit for the exact same reasons. So whether it's mainstream faith or an alternative quote unquote lifestyle, they're the same thing. The animosity is for the same thing, not because I'm fearful that I can't protect myself. It's I want the ability to always be able to cause harm. And that's what these people do. They cause maximum damage every time they go out. And we share a story. We talk about how it's sad, how it shouldn't happen again. And it's a revolving door. So, I mean, you you're now married. You have 6 kids. You got chickens. You got ducks. You got dogs. You have been
Tortoise,
compromising.
a
Yeah,
tortoise,
yeah, yeah, keep
a
going.
snake, and a hedgehog.
And how many of those things would you prefer to not have in your house?
I'm cool with all those things.
Because you've learned to compromise because it makes your life easier. You compromise for all of these different animals, for all these different things, because it makes your household run better, because it pleases the people around you. You're because you're effectively doing something for them. You're allowing it to happen, right?
Mhm.
So you, there's no restriction. You're able to do all of those things, and there's no threat of you causing your kids harm. So there's no reason to restrict it. But you're not. But you're dealing with your love and your affection and just your person. You're not dealing with a device made to cause harm. That is its implicit use. We pack it on us because we can defend ourselves if someone comes at us. Yes, that's not what it was designed for. So if we're putting it in the hands of people who are untrained or don't have a right to use it, or who are infringing upon others' rights in their use, that should supersede the right for us all to simply bear arms. Because, yes, bearing arms is something we should be all entitled to. However, we should all have the privilege of making it to and from school without retribution from a coward who uses this thing because no one will stop them. That's it. And even breaking it down to where it's like, oh, the AR-15 and or it's this gun or that gun, blah 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 blah. Hunting is always going to be hunting. No one's talking about taking away that because no one's walking in with a rifle. They got to reload like that. No one's doing that. No one's doing that. And even when people
Oh,
like just have a knife and then they go crazy in a crowded space, it's like that's only going to go so far. And on the blip on the sphere of things happening, the amount of mass casualty events by way of knife would have a lot harder time catching on the way that mass shootings do via gun in our country. And until there is proof of use in that direction, we cannot simply dismiss it because we haven't tried. And what's worse than not trying as a parent? What do you tell your kids? The worst thing you can do is not try. So for us to not even try is beyond juvenile because we keep having to talk about it. Because I keep having to have conversations with my kids about how was your day? Oh, we did the safety thing to where we walked half a mile down the block to the church and gathered to practice a school shooting because we want to have target practice, because we want to feel safe in our home that has never been broken into, that we've never had to discharge our weapon in order to protect ourselves in our home for the reason why it's used, or the in the Constitution to protect ourselves. I don't have a gun in my house because it doesn't sit well with my missus. Does that put us at risk? At a higher risk? Yes. What is that risk? It's incredibly low because I left my garage door open for several hours today. We came home no problem. So for me personally, in my community, there are some unsavorables that live in and around my neighborhood, but I still live in a community to where I left my garage door open for an extended period of time. Nothing was gone. Nothing happened. I didn't have to worry about, like, I've never heard of a home invasion or anything in this area. And it's like all of the problems that do happen with guns tends to happen outside of their intended use or outside of the leisure use that you enjoy them for. So we're never going to be satisfied with whatever is presented out there, but we have to learn how to compromise. And that compromise can't be too difficult. It can't be. It's just that there is money thrown in to keep the conversation from ever happening. The same way money is thrown into ever having a conversation around psychedelics and how the medical benefits of those. Same thing that they do with cannabis. Oh well, we can't pursue it because there hasn't been enough research. Let's do research. Here's money thrown in the opposite direction of that. So yeah, there are forces that are always at play. The gun lobby, all of that, that go into protecting our right to enjoy the use of guns, even though people are murdered. So until it happens close enough to home, it's never going to sway you, sway other people who feel strongly about their Second Amendment rights. I feel strongly about mine as well, but I understand the necessity for me to, one, have them on me, and two, to use them is very, 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 very low. And that goes for everybody. And that changes based off of your demographics, where you live, all those things. Nothing is, there's no hyperbole here. There's no one fix all. But you just said you've walked around your house a couple of times just to make sure things were cool, but that's the extent of your use. Like, and that is the norm. The exception is what we had to talk about today. And we can put up parameters to maintain, to rein in those exceptions while still giving you the liberty to do what you do. It shouldn't be that hard. And I've
Okay.
talked for a long time. You just said okay because you want to say other things, but you don't.
I just see there's so many factors, so many different directions. Now, I would rather not come off as ignorant and sound like Ted Nugent. How's that? There's
Uh,
because like I don't have numbers and stats in front of me. I don't I just don't want to be I don't want to come off like Ted Nugent, man.
no,
Like,
I'm just talking about. No, you're just talking about from what I was. All I did was talk about the example of you and the example of you never having to use your gun to protect yourself.
there's millions of me.
No, no, no. We're talking about you specifically
I know, but I'm saying like there's millions of people like me
that have never had
too.
to use their weapon to defend themselves.
Yes,
Okay,
and then
you would say that's a pretty big pool size if we're talking about like evidence, right?
Definitely.
Quantity is very large.
Very large.
Now let's talk about qualifier. The qualifier for someone to need to use that kind of weapon.
Need isn't the issue. Need isn't the issue. The what you have in your home to defend your home and your family is no one's fucking business.
No, we're not talking again, we're not talking
But
about
in general,
defending, we're talking about attacking, offense,
right? Okay, so offense,
assault.
everything,
Yes.
that everything that these people do is already illegal. How are you going to make it any more illegal?
No, the way that they got the weapons was legal.
Right, but I'm saying like their actions are already illegal.
Wait, wait,
Like
wait.
so,
But they're
murder's
not
already
they're not
illegal.
but they're not
Trust.
doing it because of the consequence of that. That's the point. There's
Okay,
already consequence for carrying this thing out. The point is that consequence isn't enough to stop people from committing it. So the
people
next
are
thing you'll
going.
do
People have
is
been
to
people have
commit.
been murdering each other since people.
Yes, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the broad scale of murder. We're talking about the very specific thing of mass shootings because it basically only happens here.
Okay,
In terms of quantifying, it
okay.
only happens at the rate it does in this country. And that is because we don't have the same safeguards that other countries do. Other countries had the same situation happen and they put their foot down and they used their authority to make it very difficult for people to do the same thing again. And people checked out. They decided, maybe I'll just stab a guy. So in countries where mass shootings are low, the other kind of assaults go up, obviously, because they lost the option to do that. And in those countries, are you not able to still go to the range and pop off?
I
Yeah,
live there. I don't know.
you don't even know. That's the thing, you don't even know. So it could be executed perfectly in a different country, but because of the NRA and because of the gun lobby and people who pour money into the support of that, of the notion of protecting yourself, of being always able to protect yourself, these other countries have been doing it. And we are too proud as Americans to even try to do things in a different manner because of the way it's always been done. People have always been getting murdered. Yes, that is true. But they haven't always been getting murdered like this. And they don't elsewhere, which means we've got an exceptional problem that we have to take an exceptional measure to stop. And the longer we don't do that, the longer we have to have these stupid conversations. Because if you invited me to go shoot with you, I'd go. I would enjoy it. Pretty sure you would enjoy it. And we'd walk away from that experience in a positive fashion. If hunting was on the docket, and I was like, "Are we gonna eat what we kill?" You said yes. I'd be there because I believe the only reason you should take out life is for nourishment outside of the self defense. That's another story. But these people are not. It's not. If the story was these people are being attacked in their homes and these people are being murdered at an insanely high rate because they don't have the ability to protect themselves, your argument, I'm on board all of the way. It's not what's happening. These people are not trying to defend themselves. These people are assaulting passerbys and they just become statistics. And we meddle the conversation into the right to use and murders are always going to murder. And that's it. And that's lazy. And that's why the problem has gotten as conflated as it is. That's why it's so big. Such a big problem is because we won't bring a big solution. We'll protect ourselves and our convenience at all costs, even at the expense of our neighbors' lives. Kids, the people who can't defend themselves, like the kids can't buy guns, right? So are we going to lower the age to where everybody can carry a gun? Because at some point we're going to say, well, maybe 7-year-olds shouldn't be having shouldn't carry. It's not a hard argument because they're not trained. they don't. There's no need to use it. But yet and still, we have these long uncomfortable conversations because we don't want to do that. We don't want to. We don't want to. We don't want to compromise. Same reason why we go to war. Same reason why we fight in wars we never win. It's because we're unwilling to compromise. We've always got to prevent. We always have to present strength, and strength is having a weapon that says if you cross this boundary, I will address it. Awesome, at home. But in terms of need to use, in terms of being able to walk in somewhere and walk into multiple places, this is something I saw online, which ties into sobriety and addiction as well. If you were to go into one place and buy a Fedra, they take down your ID and it's in a database. So that way, when you go to the next spot and try to do the same thing, it throws up a red flag and says, nope, you can't get any more because you were already at this place. They go, and they go elsewhere. I used to work at a gas station back in the early 2000s, and I had to take people's names who came in and bought those little pills, those little energy pills. I had to write down their names and how much and the quantity that they got. And I would see those people come in 3 days later and try to buy 2 full-ass bottles of the same shit that you can only get like once a month. And I had to turn these people away. I had to go, look. And of course, you come to know you know them on a first name basis because they're fiends and they're there all the time. And so it's just like that kind of registry. How can that not work for guns? Because this shooter was able to go to multiple locations and get one gun at each place. But there's no system that works with narcotics or opioids that says, oh, you were just at Bass Pro Shop. You can't buy another gun here at Walmart. There's nothing in existence to do that. Why is that not already a thing? Very easy step. Because then we say, okay, you bought one gun here, and then you bought 5 more at 4 other places. What's it called when people a wellness check?
Mm-hmm.
Red flag it. Have the oh shit department stop by and say, hey man, you good? You bought 4 guns at 5 guns at 4 different places. What's really going on? And of course, people can't help but expose themselves online and to share that information and to do that. So they're leaving a paper trail. They're leaving a trail. And so just like this last situation and the time before it, they're brazen. They get in these little circles to where people gas them up. They go out and they execute. They literally execute people. So we got to try something, man. If we try and it doesn't work, cool. The thing that we'll learn is through the failure. But if we just claim we're winning all the time, you never learn from that. And we're not winning. Kids are getting killed. You have too many kids to not be a concerned parent about that. I've got 2. And I just based off of the parents. I'm like, oh man. And so that way and I hear my wife talk as a teacher. I hear them talk. You know, it's like doctor-patient confidentiality. So there's no names or anything. So I don't know these people, but she's like, you can tell. I was like, do you see kids and you can tell if there is a problem that they're on the short list? She's like, absolutely. That's terrible, man. Kids getting sent home because there's active threats, calling in bomb threats and stuff like that. Like, just the ability to be able to, it's help versus harm. We aren't helping ourselves by allowing people to continue to harm us through this blanket safeguard that allows you to feel safe in your home. And I hope you sleep well. I don't think guns in my house would make me sleep any better. They would help if someone came around, but I got a couple bats in strategically placed areas to where I'm not going to go down without a fight. It'd just be a different kind of metal. But long story short, protect yourself. And that's it. Leave it there. Leave it in your place. Leave it in your car. Leave it in your spot. You get too hot, man. Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to, because has anyone ever shot somebody with a low BPM? like relaxed outside of like assassins. Like if you had a heart monitor on and there's like people only kill people if their heart rate is above like 95. And so then you have your watch, your heart rate with a Bluetooth in your piece. So if you ever get too riled up, it won't let you fire. Would that work? Would that suffice?
No.
Because then you'd be like, nah, man, I want to be able to get hot.
Well, I mean, because that could be used in a situation with what if you're firing back and then your gun's like, no.
Return fire clause. Very simple.
How's it going to differentiate your heart rate?
Because you don't, because I'm pretty sure that because there's a timeline. Just like what's the thing on your car? The OD3, OD2, whatever that reader is, right?
Yeah.
It gives you the diagnostics of your car. You can have the diagnostics of your heart rate, and there's a time frame attached to that. So if you were getting into a situation, well, that's the thing. If you make it a standard and you both have a weapon on you and you both are in an argument, your heart rate's too high, neither of your guns are going to fire. So at the very worst, it'll be you'll get pistol whipped or hit with the butt of the gun, whatever. Like it'll be a different situation to where the amount of loss is greatly decreased and the consequence or just the restriction of being able to do it will lower the numbers by default. Unless these people are going in just 80 BPMs, bro. Like that's just an assassin level. But that's what I'm talking about. Just getting creative with it to where we understand the intent isn't to prevent you, the law abiding citizen, from being able to enjoy your peace. It's not the point. The point is to try and put safeguards for the exceptional circumstances when we lose our emotions and we take it out on other people. That's it. You notice how we are still shooting machine guns in like futuristic movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, according to that, gun technology isn't going to go to lasers and phasers anytime soon. So, let's just get these machine guns and these automatic rifles. Let's get these weapons, these instruments of death. Just make them make sense. That's it. That's it. Responsible gun use. There's a window, and we're not in it for sure. When was the last time you fired your weapon?
About a month ago, I think.
We even got to talk about the cost because, goddamn, I haven't gone to the gun range in a long time, and it's because of the cost. Because I went with four. It was four of us that went, and we had a competition, and we went through some boxes, bro. We got to the counter afterwards, and we were like, insane, insane. So
I'll take you out here to Ted's.
yeah, I'm sure there's. I'm at
Oh
the
no, I want to.
yeah.
I want to take you. I'll take you out here to Ted's so you can shoot the saw.
The saw.
Hmm?
What is that?
It's the machine gun I carried in Iraq.
Oh, okay.
They have one that you can rent and use, the full auto one.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm a competitive person, and that just draws into it. The power that you feel behind holding a weapon, I get all of that shit, dog. Like waking up these kids dying, man. It's not worth it in my book. Not worth that leisure. But I just went on for about 15, 20 minutes on my own, which I did not intend to do. I apologize.
It is what it is. It's all right.
Please, anything else you'd like to talk about?
Nah, man.
Floor is
It's
yours.
it's 10:30. I need to go to bed.
Yeah, you're right. All right, man. Get us out of here.
Thank you so much for listening to the Sober Swole podcast, everybody. Once again, I'm Jake Howard.
Oh man, that's my bad.
Woo!
Didn't have your
Good.
woo locked and loaded. I go by DJ Swirl.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl.
Do you want to tell the people what we got coming up next week?
Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we have Captain Sandy Yon from Below Deck Mediterranean, and she was actually on the flagship show Below Deck, filling in for Captain Lee this last season of Below Deck. She is not only a yacht captain, but she is sober. She's an author. She's a cancer survivor, and a myriad of other freaking kick-ass things. I'm very excited about next week.
I am on season 5 of Below Deck Med, so I'm doing my research. I'm trying to get on board. I've got
Just getting deep.
I am knee deep in Below Deck. So
Have you got where they had to fire Hannah yet?
hey man, spoiler alert. No, I made the mistake of doing research because I wanted to learn more about the ships or the
Yeah.
boats and just what that means. And in the reading, I wound up spoiling the news myself. So no, I have not gotten to that point, but I'm getting close. So,
It's interesting television.
interesting. Very good. All right, boss. Pleasure as
man.
always. Sorry for the gun rant. You can edit it out if you want. Warhorse.
Hey, I still love you.
I love you too, brother. Bye.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.